Hello and welcome. This is Campaign Chronicles, France 24's regular countdown to the presidential election here in France. And I'm joined by our politics editor, Mark Perelman. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening.
And our media editor, James Creedon, will also be dropping in later with the reactions from the press and the internet. Let's start with you, Mark. You've got the very latest polling figures for us. They're quite interesting.
Yes, and those are the last polls because as of midnight Paris time, the official campaign is over. There are no polls, nothing on TV or radio and other media before voting on Sunday. And so there is a flurry of polls. All the polling institutes were firing on all cylinders today. We'll show you two polls. One by Ipsos, the first round polls, which shows that the socialist leader François Hollande is on top with 29% of voting intentions. Nicolas Sarkozy arrives second, 25.5%.
Quite a few points behind there.
Quite a few points behind. Those two would qualify for round two, which is scheduled for May 6th. In third place, far-right leader Marine Le Pen. And so most of the polls show similar figures with François Hollande ahead or slightly ahead of Nicolas Sarkozy. Another poll shows their tie. We'll see the other poll by IFOP, which shows both main rivals tied at 27% of voting intentions. Similar order after that: Marine Le Pen, far-right left leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon, centrist leader François Bayrou. And in the second round, we'll see the two projections. François Hollande is clearly ahead of Nicolas Sarkozy in voting intention, 56-44 according to Ipsos.
Oh, that's a serious lead there.
Seriously, 12% difference. And for IFOP, it's narrower, but still nevertheless big. Historically, it's 54-46 in 2007. Nicolas Sarkozy won against the socialist leader Ségolène Royal, 53-47. And this was considered a big margin in historical terms. So clearly, François Hollande still in the driving seat tonight, but Nicolas Sarkozy certainly hopes he can turn things around.
And there are a few hours left in the campaign. Official campaigning ends at midnight Friday, midnight Paris time, of course. There's just some time for Nicolas Sarkozy to hold one more rally in Nice. That's a conservative stronghold on the French Riviera. Since the beginning of the campaign, Sarkozy has been aiming at the staunchly right-wing electorate. The question now is whether that has been helping or hindering him, as his polling figures, as you just saw, continue to stagnate. He's falling behind his rival François Hollande. Luke Brown reports.
Nicolas Sarkozy is here in Nice in the southeast of the country for his final rally. Why is he here? Well, the city is known as a stronghold for the right wing. It's a symbolic opportunity then to get back in touch with grassroots supporters. For the activists, despite the very poor polls here, they do remain very optimistic.
The polls don't really mean anything, so I'm not worried.
We can't lose because Mr. Sarkozy has given 1,000%.
Only Sarkozy can get the country back on its feet.
Up till now, Nicolas Sarkozy has led a very right-wing campaign, perhaps in a gamble to try and win round far-right voters. It is vindication, though, for the right wing of his own party.
He's already adopted a lot of the positions from the right wing of the party. That's what's helped match Hollande's score. It's not policies that have helped him do that.
No trump card from Nicolas Sarkozy, but he has now shown his hand for the first round of the election on Sunday. A lot of talk about pride in the French nation, pride in the French identity. He did hammer home how he intends to defend French values. That means cutting the number of immigrants that do make it to France, as well as demanding more from the immigrants that do come to live here in France. That did make it a resolutely right-wing Republican message, and that could well be a taster of the strategy that Nicolas Sarkozy intends to lead in the campaign between the first and the second rounds.
So Nicolas Sarkozy clearly has repeated that he feels there is a wave growing in the country that the pollster and commentators will be surprised to see. They see you're in for a big surprise. And his main rival, François Hollande, made fun of this wave Nicolas Sarkozy seems to be seeing. Let's take a listen at François Hollande.
So as to not get in trouble, I'll call him the incumbent's president. Yes, the incumbent's president said he wanted to see a wave of support. And he'll get a wave. The wave is here. The wave is huge. The wave is powerful. And the wave is going to knock him down.
François Hollande, they're lashing out at Nicolas Sarkozy. Next, France's election authorities have warned the media they will punish anyone revealing any exit poll results or voting intentions before the polls close on Sunday evening. But how realistic is that when journalists and voters in France and beyond can now share information online with a click of a mouse?
Electoral authorities are trying to push the pause button on the media circus surrounding the French elections. The polling commission has announced it will apply with renewed vigor a law first drafted decades ago. It would impose a fine of €75,000 on anyone divulging the results of the election or voting numbers before the polls close at 8 p.m. local time.
If we uncover any violation of the law prohibiting the publication of survey results or early exit polls from midnight tonight until Sunday at 8 p.m, then we're willing to begin legal proceedings to address any infraction.
The prosecutor will have a team of 10 people monitoring online activity over the next 2.5 days. But the advent of social media is making the job of preventing information from getting out more difficult, if not impossible.
Can you imagine trying to control and censor the information on social networks in France in the middle of a French election? That would seem like the censorship that took place in Egypt. It would be completely crazy.
France's 9 principal polling groups have signed a document in which they pledge not to release polling information over the weekend or conduct any exit polls on Sunday. But foreign media, particularly in Belgium and Switzerland, are expected to release results of the electoral race before 8 p.m, with probable impunity.
And our media editor, James Creedon, has joined us on set as well. Hi, James.
Good evening.
You've got the latest from what's happening online as this campaign wraps up.
That's right. Coming out of that report we just saw there, it's a difficult one for, I suppose, the authorities to manage here because they're trying to kind of, I suppose,
clamp down on any exit poll results
on the internet, which is very difficult to clamp down on as a tool.
Virtually impossible.
Right, and so they have some 10 people who are going to survey the internet on the night in question.
10 people.
10 people to survey the internet.
That's sweet. It's a good effort. I don't think it will work.
And especially, seeing as the idea is that even if you tweet the results, you could be liable for a fine. So what some innovative internet users have come up with is code language to come around it. So let's take a look.
Clever internet user.
That's right. So let's take a look at some of what they have come up with online. So le nain de jardin chausse du 26. The garden gnome is a shoe size of 26. So that might be a reference to...
Taking a wild guess.
Might be a reference to Nicolas Sarkozy.
President Sarkozy and a 26% score.
In the poll, right? And here we have la Rolex 2 minutes de retard. The Rolex is 2 minutes late. So, I mean, that's again...
Another reference to President Sarkozy.
Right. Probably his taste for luxury watches. And...
Here, now, les Pays-Bas mènent avec 2 buts d'avance sur la Hongrie. The Holland is winning 2 goals ahead of Hungary at half-time. So Holland would be, I guess, François Hollande.
And Hungary is Nicolas Sarkozy because that's where his origins are.
This is easy. It is easy enough to kind of come around. Now I'm going to give you a tougher one,
10
Mark.
people.
I wonder will you get this because
okay.
Okay. En 77, les Verts affichent un taux de tir cadré de 3%. Pas joli, pas joli. Do you get that?
I think it's about the Green Party candidate, Eva Joly, who's going to get 3% of the vote.
That's right, but apparently it's a football reference. Somebody was telling me, like a green team or something like that.
Yeah, Saint-Etienne, which was a very well-known
all right.
team
so many
wearing
cross-references in
wearing the green jersey.
So some of them can be pretty complex. I'm not sure if I... And this one here, this I suppose just to finish it, les pédalos terminent le course avec 8 longueurs d'avance sur les yachts. Pédalo is a pedal boat, right? And finishing 8 lengths ahead of the yacht.
So the yacht.
I get this one.
The yacht is a luxury boat?
The yacht is a luxury boat. Right after he was elected in 2007, Nicolas Sarkozy made headlines because he went on a luxury yacht of a very wealthy businessman here in France, and he's been criticized for being the president of the rich.
Right.
The pedal boat is
much more humble.
Much more humble, but it's François Hollande because one of his rivals, the far left leader, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, compared him to the captain of a pedal boat, which was not exactly a compliment. So there you go. It means François Hollande will have 8% lead over Nicolas Sarkozy.
Now, I suppose what all of this illustrates is it is possible to find ways around these rules which are being imposed on a medium which has gone well beyond these sort of laws.
It is possible to find a way around the 10 people task force.
And just one tweet before we go, it says exactly that. This polling commission which has some 10 people to survey the internet and to make sure that these good luck, guys. That's going to be, you know, good luck to you surveying, as I said earlier, the internet.
Right. Yeah, but here on France 24, we're bound by the rules and we'll apply
and we won't be publishing any exit polls.
Right.
Exactly.
So I suppose
But you've got all the codes now.
Tune in on Sunday to see me looking at tweets but not being able to talk about them. So that'll be...
All right, we have to leave it there. Thanks very much to you both. James Creedon, our media editor, Mark Perlman, our politics editor on France 24. That was Campaign Chronicles.